I'm Aaron.
I'm Asia.
And I'm Trevor.
And you're listening to Deadly Sips.
You guys, we have Papa Rowland on the podcast today. It's my dad.
I usually listen in my truck when I'm commuting, but now I get to listen live, so I'm excited.
Woohoo! Yes. Poor guy gets the live show. Well, guys, it was Christmas this week, and we had the best time. We've been visiting family from Missouri.
Yes.
And visiting Papa Rowland over here. It's been a pretty chill and fun time. So, yeah.
Got an adequate amount of couch time.
Yes, much needed couch time.
Who doesn't love couch time? I mean, let's be real. And we binged Stranger Things, and I'm so mad at the cliffhanger. If you know, you know. But we're excited to see it on New Year's. That'll be fun.
Only a few more days, guys. We got this.
I know, we can trudge through. Oh.
I just want to know who dies.
I know, right? We're all like, who dies?
Putting in bets now.
Putting in bets. Well, you guys, Papa Rowland here is the founder of Fart.
I'm so proud. I'm so proud.
I know, he's like my legacy. It's Fart. But do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, Dad? A little bit?
Live in Utah. Am proud parents of these guys. Proud father of these guys. And we like all things paranormal. I like dark, not as much as they like dark, but I do like paranormal.
Yeah.
It does fascinate me. It's exciting.
Yeah.
But anyways, father of 5 daughters and grandfather of 6 granddaughters. And so just a life full of ladies in my life. And so, yeah.
Well, thanks for being on today.
She's been dying to have you on.
The way you emphasize he's been dying. It's true. We're a little bit more, I'm more into the true crime. But I grew up a lot with the paranormal. I'm a lot more dark, though.
I've watched countless amounts of forensic files. I'm more into how they solve the crime, the size of this. I'm more into they just make me sad that people are the way that they are.
Yeah.
But I love the technology of forensics and solving crimes is really cool. And I think if I have another shot at another life, I want to be an investigator.
Oh, I love that. It's true. It's so fascinating.
We'll have to start doing a lot more paranormal episodes and having you come on. And then we'll be able to share quite a bit of stories.
So yes, he's our special guest today. And then we're going to feature him in his experiences, you guys, on another episode. And we're excited for that. Woo!
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. All right, guys. I wanted to go ahead and shout out Will and his crew at the Geek, Gauntlet podcast again. We shouted them out on our last episode, but we wanted to do it a little bit more properly this time. Now, you can find them on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, and a bunch of other things. They're amazing.
So, like it says in the title, Geek Gauntlet. So you have all things video games, comics, gaming, anything that's coming out that, you know, your good, friendly neighborhood nerd would like. It's what would be on there.
Yeah, go check them out. They are incredible. And of course, you guys, it's time for our shameless plug of the week. You can find us at Deadly Sips Podcast on Patreon. If you want to support some small creators, go to Patreon. Do it. Find us on YouTube at Asia and Aaron, and then Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Deadly Sips Podcast. So, yeah, that's enough of our shameless plug of the week, you guys. Now for the Deadly Sip of the week.
Yes.
Aaron?
So every episode, we try to pair a lovely cocktail, and for our sober sippers, the mocktail that you can join in on us and drink with us while you listen to the episode, or just have a nice little cocktail on the weekend or mocktail on the weekend. So, before we begin the story, pour yourself something fitting. This episode drink is called the Lost Lantern. Smoky, dark, and quietly burning. Much like the mystery we're about to tell. And if you're skipping the alcohol, like I said, Lost Lantern keeps the glow without the heat. Sip slowly. Some stories don't like to be rushed.
Love it.
All right. On Christmas Eve, 1945, while most of America slept beneath the comfort of holiday lights and family warmth, a small house in Fayetteville, West Virginia, burned to the ground. By morning, 5 children were gone. No bodies, no remains, no answers. The fire was ruled an accident, but the Sodder family never believed it. Neighbors reported strange lights in the sky, phone lines mysteriously cut. Witnesses claimed to see the children after the fire. And decades later, a photograph would arrive in the mail. No return address. Raising the question that still haunts this case today: did the Sodder children really die in the fire, or were they taken? Tonight, we're unraveling one of America's most chilling unsolved mysteries, a story of fire, silence, and a family that refused to stop searching. This is the Sodder Children Mystery.
Have you ever heard of the Sodder children?
I never have. I was a little unclear, though. Where were the parents in all this?
Yes.
You get to this. Okay.
Yeah, you'll see why. As a dad, you'll relate. It's great.
My first thought is insurance fraud.
Oh, yeah. That's actually a great theory.
Solid theory.
Solid theory. All right. That was a great stab in the dark.
So, the parents of the Sodder children, George and Jenny Sodder, and they had 10 children. George, born Giorgio Soddu on the Italian island of Sardinia in 1895.
Aw.
When he was 13, he came to the U.S. with his brother. It didn't share his name. Don't know why. However, as soon as they stepped on Ellis Island, because that's where they came in when ones were immigrating to New York, the brother immediately returned to Italy, leaving his brother behind.
Okay.
Yeah, just peace out, dude. Not for me.
So George stayed.
George stayed. This is where he received the anglicized name George Sodder.
Oh, like the Americanized name?
Yes. Because, apparently no one can pronounce that, so you have to get a normal name. He started working for the railroad, then eventually he started his own trucking company.
Go George.
Yes, the American dream.
Starting his own trucking company as an immigrant.
Yes. Now is when he met Jenny in the early 1920s. She was also an Italian immigrant and only moved when she was 3 years old to America, so she didn't really know much of her Italy roots, but of course, her parents, you kept the Italian alive in the family
tradition.
household. So
Got it.
Yeah. And so they had lots in common. They fell in love and got married. They moved to Fayetteville, West Virginia.
That's like Fayetteville, North Carolina. We live there.
Exactly.
Just kidding. Way different. But same name.
Couple states south.
Yeah.
But yeah. And this community was also big with Italian immigrants. So they stayed, pretty close to their roots. Over the next 20 years, they had their children, and they became very respected in the community.
Well, they got
big
busy.
business owner and oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was like, they got busy with 10 kids.
Yeah, not a lot of people have 10 kids. Who else would you know who has 10 kids, Trevor?
My mother-in-law.
Yeah.
It's a Utah thing. But 1945, that was probably before epidurals.
Yeah.
Yes.
So why would somebody do that? I have no idea.
Who knows?
Probably just lack of contraception.
They may not have known what caused it.
Yes, exactly. They were very respected in the community. He was a business owner. He was very involved in the community, wanted to help out. And of course, with 10 kids running around, you kind of get to know everybody.
Yep.
However, they had different political views during this time that a lot of the community were more on the other side of his views.
Okay.
So during this time, this was the time of World War II.
Huh?
And so Italy's Prime Minister, Mussolini, a lot of the community liked him to where George and Jenny did not. So whenever this topic of politics came up or the war, there was quite a few arguments between them and members of the community.
Okay, so they didn't like Mussolini.
They did not.
Okay. And the town did.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
You're talking about the town that they came from.
That they're living in right now.
In the United States.
Yes, Fayetteville, West Virginia.
Okay.
Because you kind of get differing opinions. People who wanted to leave Italy for it.
They were Italians in the United States, and so
Right.
they were friends of Mussolini. But it seems like the politics wise, the Americanized American people would have probably been anti-Mussolini, if I remember my history correctly.
Right.
So it was the Italian pocket that he was in.
Yes,
Yes.
Italian pocket. With their 10 kids, they didn't share much about the eldest child who was actually fighting in the war at the time. The next oldest son was named John. Then goes Marion, George Jr., Louis, Martha, Maurice, Betty, and the youngest, Sylvia. So this is where it starts to kind of prelude into the night where everything happened. So one day, a young man came by the house. He was looking for work, and he knew George very well because he was a business owner. He was helping out in the community a lot. So he stopped by asking if he could have a job. During that time, as they were walking through the house, just talking about what you could do for the job, what assets would you bring and everything, he kind of just randomly brings up the fuse boxes on the outside of the house. Says, one day those fuse boxes are going to start a fire. Like, why would you say that?
That's suspicious.
Almost like a threat.
Almost like we were just talking about a job, and then you suddenly bring up a fire. Interesting. It was interesting also because a utility worker had come by recently, had checked the boxes, checked the house, and everything passed inspection.
Yeah,
Random dude just walks up. This ain't gonna work. He ended up not going with this guy for any jobs or having him as an employee, basically.
Didn't hire him.
Yeah, didn't hire him. There.
Was he creeped out by the fuse thing? Did
Yeah.
it catch him off guard, or was it just after the fact, hindsight 2020, my house burnt down and this guy said something about it type of a thing?
I'm sure it's
Kind of
I don't-
both. Because at the time it's like, what the heck? The utility worker just came by and said this was fine. But of course, after everything happened, looking back, it's like, okay, that was a lot,
Work.
very,
Mm-hmm.
really weird. A couple months passed, and then another man whose name was omitted for privacy reasons, worked with George in some kind of capacity. Not sure if it was a business partner, a financial advisor, something like that. And during this time, while they're doing business, the person who I'm just going to name Fabio. I'll name him
Beautiful,
Fabio.
beautiful name. I call my dad Fabio sometimes.
So hopefully we don't get this
It
mixed
tracks.
up.
Let's go.
So Fabio written up the home insurance and the couple's life insurances. Now he had a falling out with George, and somewhere down the road he had raised the premium of the insurance policies from $1,500 to $1,750, or $1,500 to $1,750. It's like, okay, you're raising the premium. Why? Like, this is, George's insurance policies, and now you're doing it just out of the random. One day, he showed up on their doorstep, hounding them for more money.
For the insurance policies.
Yep. He wanted more money. I think they had some kind of disagreement before, because like I said, again, the community and George's family, they had a lot of different views about Mussolini. So when he showed up at the door asking for more money, he wanted to also sell the policy because he wanted more money. So instead of just getting the premiums and everything, he wanted just the full policy and all the benefits that I laid out. Then somewhere out of the blue, he recommends, hey, you should take life insurance policies out on your children.
Which, it's funny because when you first say that, you're like, oh, no, that's really smart. That's a really good idea. But with all the weird stuff happening, you're like,
yeah. Because at the time, they didn't think much of it. That makes sense, but why do I need to? They're fine. But of course, hindsight, no, it's a little weird. So he pushed the issue, matter of practicality rather than emotion. It's like, no, this is a smart deal. Like you were saying, like you need to write these policies up because you never know what could happen. What if something happens and you didn't have a policy? It's like, okay, that makes sense, but this is a weird time. I think we're okay. Whatever. So he gets mad. He keeps bringing up the issue, and just finally at the very end, he gets up all mad and makes a statement, and he says, one day your house is going to go up in flames and your children will be destroyed. That's quite a statement to make.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
you're,
that's weird.
hounding me for money, saying I should take life insurance policies on my children, and then bam, your house is going to go up in flames and your children's destroyed.
Where were we at chronologically with that statement and the actual fire? How far away is it?
So this is in August
Okay.
of 1945, so a couple of months before.
Okay.
And so this is also, I think, within a couple of weeks when the other guy who was looking for a job and had brought up the fuse boxes, that guy was before Fabio. So this was kind of all together. Nothing at the time they thought was too weird other than the, random statement of the children policies and your children will be destroyed.
Woof.
Yes. And right before he leaves, he says, you will pay for your remarks of Mussolini. So again,
Sounds like a threat.
very much so. So jump ahead a few months. A day toward the end of December, of course, not quite Christmas yet. The older Sodder children were watching the younger ones come home from school, as they usually do. There's a long rural road that they come down from the school, and it's a small town. You don't really, think much anything will happen. Normal day. However, they spot a car with a stranger inside watching the children come home. Like, this is weird. So they, go out farther. I'm assuming they have probably like a long driveway and everything. And so they're seeing them come down the road. So they walk out to the end of the driveway just to make sure nothing happens. And of course, thank goodness, nothing did happen. The car drove off, but they thought it was very weird. At the time, again, they didn't think too much of it. So they actually didn't end up telling their parents yet.
Okay.
Now comes the day of Christmas.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun dun. So,
Merry Crisis.
So the kids, they've all opened their presents. They're all having fun playing with their new trinkets and toys and probably new clothes that the parents got them. And George and the two older boys went to bed early while the other ones stayed awake to continue, playing with their presents. Night comes, everyone just starts falling asleep in random places throughout the house. You got downstairs, people going through the bedrooms. Mom and dad goes upstairs with the youngest daughter. Around 12:30 a.m., a phone call comes to the house. Ginny answered it, but the caller asked for someone that wasn't at the address. It's like, oh, sorry, this wrong address, wrong phone number. What she could hear in the background was laughter and glasses clinking. Okay, didn't think much of it. It's like, okay, well, you got the wrong number. You're probably drunk. Goodbye. Hangs up. While she was heading back to bed, she saw all the lights on downstairs, which she thought weird because when everyone started going to sleep, they turned everything off and everything was fine. With most of the children in bed, she did go down to investigate because this was kind of weird. Like, why are the lights on? Not only were the lights on, curtains were open, front door was unlocked, so she started listening out if there was an intruder. When she was going downstairs, she did finally spot Marion, the older daughter, was asleep on the couch, so didn't think much of it. Turned off all the lights, closed the curtains, locked the door. Goes back upstairs, goes to sleep. Not maybe 30 minutes later, they wake up again to a thumping noise on the top of the roof. Like something hitting it and then rolling off. So again, she didn't think much of it, just rolled back over and back to sleep. They woke up a third time. However, this time was to the smell of smoke. George's office was on fire. We'll come back to that thumping and rolling noise. George, Ginny wake up, spring into action. They start running down the hallway, getting at the two older boys that were in their bedrooms, telling them, hey, go grab all the other kids, get downstairs, get out of the house. The house is on fire. Ginny heads downstairs, tells Marion, go upstairs, grab your sister. We're grabbing everyone else. Let's go. Get out of the house now. So again, children were scattered throughout. They went here, they went there, grabbed everyone that they could, and then ran out of the house. When they got outside, they noticed some children were missing. They couldn't turn back. The smoke had gotten way too bad by the time they got outside. So George immediately proposed a plan, get them out. We got to get them out because we can't go through the bottom of the house anymore. Everything's on fire. So he thinks very fast and says, okay, well, I keep a ladder on the side of the house. I'm going to run over and grab that ladder. So we can climb up on one of the windows, go through there, get everybody else out, back down the ladder, all good. He gets there. Nowhere to be found is this ladder. He's one of those like creatures of habit, like, I know I had this here. I keep my ladder right here.
This is the ladder spot. Why is the ladder not there?
Exactly. Turns out later that this ladder was over 65 feet away from the house and in a ditch.
That's weird.
Yes. It's kind of just sitting there in his thoughts, like, well, obviously not super long, but fast enough to be like, nothing's here. Okay, plan B. I have trucks. Let's back the trucks up to the house. I'll climb on top, jump in the window, again, get everybody out. We'll be good. Goes over to the trucks. None of them start. All of these trucks were working the day before.
Okay.
And
Nothing
he
is
has a trucking company, right? So he
Mhm.
has probably several trucks.
Oh yeah, like
Yep.
he keeps maintenance on these trucks because I mean, you have a trucking company, you got to make sure them trucks are working. Suddenly they're not working.
After a while, all these coincidences aren't coincidences anymore.
Nothing is
Like-
coincidentally anymore.
Nothing is coincidentally anymore. This doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
No.
Well, plan A and plan B have gone down the drain. Plan C, we have a water barrel out here. Let's grab some water, start chucking on the flames, at least get it out somewhere so we can get through the house. They get to the water barrel, water's frozen.
No.
Everything that could have gone wrong happened that night. And now they're just in shock watching the house go down in flames.
So sad.
Very sad. So, during this time, Ginny is like, okay, nope, I'm not letting this happen. I'm going to go do something about it. She runs to the neighbor's house and have them call the fire department. Couldn't get in the operator. This was the time where you you hit the thing and you say, operator, connect me to such and such. Couldn't get the operator.
What?
Yep. By this time, another person was passing by the house and saw the flames, drove to the tavern that was just down the road to call.
Okay.
Same issue, jumps out and is back in his truck, and he goes to locate the fire chief, because small town, you know where people live.
Go ahead.
Fire chief's name is F.J., I think it's Simmons? No, Morris. F.J. Morris. That's his
Okay.
name.
Morris.
And instead of just immediately jumping in the fire truck, because, fire chief, figure he can drive a truck. Turns out he couldn't drive the truck. I'm not sure if it was for some, past reason he got his license revoked, or just this, because during this time, it was a time of war, so a lot of the usual firefighters were off fighting in the war. So this could have been maybe a fill-in fire chief or something, so he didn't know how to operate the truck. So he, in turn, tries to call all the other volunteer firefighters.
I also think that it's not smart to go by yourself as a firefighter. So I mean, I think it's reasonable to call all the other people.
Solid.
Yeah.
I think about how fast the house goes up in flames and all this stuff is happening. It's already too late, probably, anyways.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
Yeah.
So he, in turn, starts calling everybody, tries to get everyone packed up. They get to the firehouse, get the fire truck, and start heading out. How long do you think it took them to get here? Get to the house?
the fire truck,
I can't.
probably 30 to 40 minutes.
It took them 8 hours.
So there was smoldering ashes.
Yeah,
There
by the
was
time they
nothing.
got there, it was just ash. Everything was already burnt to the ground. Here's the funny kick. It took the house 30 to 45 minutes to burn to the ground.
Mhm.
So what was the point of them even showing up at that?
No, they're like, we're just gonna come investigate this pile of nothingness because we are dumb butts.
Yep.
And there's no reasonable explanation why that took 8 hours.
Mm-mm.
As a mom, I'm infuriated. Could you imagine if your house burned down and your children you think are inside and it's just gone
Exactly.
in 8 hours? That would infuriate me.
Mm-hmm.
Death row.
That's right.
The pair of anguish, the brazen bull, all of the things.
So yes, it took the house 30 to 45 minutes to burn, and it took the firefighters 8 hours to get there. So a lot of stuff is just this is be messed up.
Mhm.
So how many kids were allegedly left inside?
5.
5 kids. And
4 made it out.
4 made it out.
Yep.
And the other one was off to war.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. And it's all the younger kids minus the youngest, you said?
Yes.
Minus the baby girl. Well, not baby, but the youngest girl.
And I'm just wondering, from the time the house burnt down,
Mhm.
for the 7 hours for the fire department to get there, I mean, I assume the parents aren't just sitting outside waiting. I mean, where
Oh,
they've
no.
probably gone somewhere else.
Right. So they were probably trying everything they could, but with how fast that the house went up in flames, like for them going to the ladder, to the trucks, to Jenny running to the neighbor's house, nothing just happening. Someone must have at least ran down the road to, find a house that did have an operating phone, for sure.
Well, at that point, too, as a parent, when you see all your 5 children are gone and they're not accounted for, you probably assume the worst.
So, since by the time they get there, the house is already burned down to flames, all that's left is the smolders. So they just start to go through and look for remains. They couldn't find anything, and everything had collapsed into the basement. So they were and just thought, let's bulldoze everything into the basement since everything fell in anyway, and let's just make this a memorial. Put some flowers up. This will be the resting place. This will be graves, essentially.
That to me is an immediate red flag because do you know how hot a fire would have to be for there to be no remains found, no thumb bones, no nothing?
Mm-hmm.
That's weird to me.
I don't think it's possible.
No, like not in a house fire.
Yeah.
So.
Like you'd have to have a pretty daggum strong fire to get that to burn through bone.
Yeah.
For sure.
Weird.
So they received the death certificates, and on the death certificate, it was ruled an accident by fire and suffocation. And it was ruled an electrical fire. One thing I didn't mention earlier is when they were outside, they were looking at their house and all their, their lights, the decorations, everything was still on. And it was ruled an electrical fire. Now, George thought that was weird because the lights were still on. If it was an electrical fire, those would have been out.
Sounds like the logic of a government agency.
Aliens.
Aliens.
Just kidding. Conspiracy.
So weeks passed, and George and Jenny thought of unusual events that happened prior to that night. So the one guy showing up saying the fuse boxes, then suddenly the Fabio that was saying, your house is going to be destroyed and your kids will be destroyed. And then the ladder, the trucks, and the fire department. Like, why is my ladder gone and so far away? Why were the trucks not working? Why did it take 8 hours for them to get here? And most importantly, no human remains.
What do you do?
Mm-hmm.
As a parent, what do you do?
They just go full investigation mode. I'm not sure if they were able to work or do anything after this, but they went full investigative
Parents.
mode. Yes.
Well, go them.
Yes.
Where did the insurance get paid out to?
I didn't find that out, but I'm certain because there were 2 names on the list, they were split between probably George and Fabio, unfortunately.
Can we look that up? It didn't.
And why that guy would be listed as a beneficiary, it doesn't make any sense.
Back in those days, the people who were the insurers, they could add them.
That's so wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
His name is Fiorenzo Genitoli.
Not far from Fabio.
Not far from Fabio.
Not that far.
So it was paid out to him,
Ew.
who had co-signed the loan with George and had a vested financial interest, increasing the policy without the family's knowledge. So he kept increasing it without their knowledge. Even though he went and asked for it, he did it by himself.
Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
It was paid out to him. So did George even get anything?
It doesn't look like it.
That is ridiculous. And he paid the premiums. Do we have any idea of the amounts that were paid out?
I'm sure. I mean, it was in the 40s. It couldn't have been that much.
Well, annual income was probably a couple $1,000.
I'm like, granted, back then a premium of $1,750 a month would be kind of insane. So I'm thinking maybe
it's adjusted for inflation, I'm sure.
Yeah. So the insurance policy itself was $1,750.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
that makes better sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So the policy itself was $15, then he raised it to $1,750 without them knowing. Now, gets into the juicy facts.
Oh.
So they find out also that the phone lines weren't burnt. They were purposely cut.
Wait. What?
Mm-hmm.
But there was a call at 12:30.
Exactly.
The last call.
Mm-hmm.
The last
The
call.
last call. I'll get to that. So a local man by the name of Lonnie Johnson confessed to cutting those, thinking it was the power line, because he said he was going to rob the Sodder family house that night. Someone else claimed to see when they were at the scene after everything had burned down, everyone was going through the remains trying to find everybody. Someone spotted someone trying to take what's called a block and tackle, which is a system of hooks and rope to remove engines from cars.
Yes.
I didn't know that before, so I wrote that in for myself. So, how you mentioned before that it was kind of coincidental that it puts the thief within that amount of time before that last phone call was made and when he cut the power lines. Something else, a bus driver who drove by late that night claimed to see someone throwing balls of fire on the roof.
Molotov cocktails.
Molotov.
I said that wrong. Molotov cocktails.
Molotov.
I never actually looked that up before.
Molotov.
Molotov.
Mazel tov.
Okay. So just weeks go by and they were finding out each of these, events that were happening, things that were lining up a little bit too coincidentally incoincidental, however you want to put that. So the family wants to go to the memorial and visit, the graves of their children. While they're doing so, they let the younger one, Sylvia, just go out and run around, play, do what she wants to do because she's 2 years old. She ends up finding something and starts playing with it. They go and find her. And what does she have playing with? It's called a napalm pineapple bomb.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Napalm pineapple bomb. That's fun to say,
Pineapple,
actually.
apple pen. Yeah, definitely not a toy.
Doesn't sound good.
Immediately get it out of her hands. Either they were going to throw one more or this one was a dud and it just didn't work. Well, they now found out, of course, those were the things that were being tossed up on the roof and causing the fire.
So the biggest mystery for me here is, it's obviously a hate crime, insurance fraud, greed, all this stuff going together, politically motivated. But where in the heck are the children?
That's exactly.
Yep.
That's the question. That's the question I think is on the minds of everybody about this case.
Yeah. So one of the facts that, I've talked about a couple of times is the fact there were no human remains.
Yeah.
Ginny was really caught on this idea. And so she wanted to conduct her own experiment. So she got all the things that she could find that were, resembled of human flesh, bones, like old meat, things like that. And she tossed it in the oven and threw it up. Tried to burn everything she could, different temperatures, different cuts of those meats.
I don't think the oven could get close to the temperatures you're going to get in a house fire, though.
No.
Definitely not.
No.
But even then, like every time that she did it, the results were the same. Remains were still left. So she found an employee at a crematorium and asked about this.
Mm-hmm.
The employee says they burn bodies at 2,000 degrees for 2 hours and still get remains.
Yeah, no.
So
And how long was the fire going for?
30 to 45 minutes.
Yep.
It also recently had a different fire, I think in either the same county of some kind, because obviously not in the same community, that had claimed the lives of 7 people, and all 7 remains were found. Exactly. So Ginny knew her kids were alive. She knew it. Like, okay, no remains were found. Around this time, there were claims that started to come out. One woman claimed to see all 5 children alive. Saw them looking out the window of a car that night, unclear of where it took place or how the woman knew it to be the kids. They didn't know, but just, when people start asking for more information, people just start flooding in with different things. Probably get attention. Maybe they actually found something. Who knows?
Yeah.
Another claim from a woman who worked at a tourist location between the Sodder house and Charleston, which was about 50 miles away. She had served them breakfast. Didn't have any other information other than the car that they were driving in had a Florida license plate. One interesting fact is that Ginny's brother lived in Florida. But one thing that I kind of at least wrote off to at least kind of help, the devil's advocate. I feel like almost all rental cars also have a Florida license plate. For some reason, they have the biggest hub for rental cars or something. So I was like, okay, well, maybe it could have been the brother or someone from the area, or someone that came by, got a rental car, and drove off. So another claim was another woman who worked at a hotel in Charleston. So we have someone that was hit midway between the two. One that was an actual person in Charleston had checked in a strange party about a week after Christmas Eve. Past midnight, 4 Italian-speaking adults, 2 men and 2 women, and 4 children. Clerk tried to talk to the children, but once they did so, the adult became hostile and very short with them and started conversing amongst themselves. Like, not like when you're out in public and you have someone that speaks other languages, when they're passed by some different people, they tend to say stuff that they don't want others to hear. So they didn't speak to this clerk, and they immediately checked out early the next day. So she had recognized 4 of those children from a magazine article one day, but she was unclear of which ones that she saw because the adults were pretty, crowded around them. They didn't want anyone to see the kids probably, so she couldn't catch all of them, but she knew she saw 4 kids. There were a couple of claims afterward that pointed towards Florida. So this is where Jenny kind of flirted with the idea that, maybe Jenny's brother, whose name is Frank, maybe he had them. Not sure why she thought that, but that's another just possible thing that's right there. Hoping that maybe that he had them, they're at least safe. Not sure why her own brother would do it, but maybe they're still safe. They're fine. So she asked, can we just check with the kids? Or are these your kids? Or are they my kids? I don't know what's going on. But granted, as a mom, I would feel like you would know your children's faces.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're related. There could be familial similarities between each child, but I would feel like you knew your own kids.
Yeah.
So the police down there did their work, did their due diligence, and checked the birth records of all the kids that lived with them, and everything was in order. And this went to a dead end.
Dang.
So next was a missionary in a small village called Cortez recognized the kids in the paper in a house safe nearby. So this kind of led them down there in Florida. And so immediately they're like, let's send someone down there now, get them to, get to this house. Like they said that they're safe. Let's get down to them now. I'm not sure the time frame of when they finally got somebody down there, but by the time the investigator got there, the kids disappeared.
Yeah.
So questions arose were, did somebody tip them off? The kids or the people who had the kids got away. Was the investigator, something happened to the investigator? They didn't get there fast enough. Was the investigator, paid off? They don't really know. Allegedly, that detective had confirmed that the children had been there before they were taken away.
I wonder how you confirmed that.
That's a very good question. But kids disappeared.
I'm just struggling with what in the world would the motive be to be hiding kids?
It seems like when I was doing a lot of the research, like there was just so much talk brought up about their political differences that seemed to have such a biggest one. But I don't know why you would take that
to that level.
So years and years and years, claim after claim after claim, George followed up on every single one of them being the dad. So in 1947, 2 years after the incident happened, they appealed to the FBI to intervene. Edgar Hoover was the director at the time, and he wrote back saying, "Wish I could help, but jurisdiction seems to be local, so we can't do anything."
Okay.
Like, I always feel like there's some kind of thing with law enforcement that, like, stepping on people's toes or interfering and this and that. But when they cross state lines, I thought that was a federal crime.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel like they should have popped in at that time. So 2 of Hoover's assistants said they would help if local authorities would allow them. So they followed up. However, they turned them down.
Wow.
Was this ego, or did they not want them to find anything? So later that year, since they weren't getting anywhere, since they tried all the way up to the FBI and they wouldn't help them, they hired a private investigator named C.C. Tinsley. And he started finding out some very disturbing things. About who in the community? Mr. Fabio. One disturbing fact that he found out was that Fabio was never brought in for questioning.
Okay. The
Like,
police work on this?
Pathetic.
terrible.
How would you say it seems intentional, like they were working together somehow?
Another thing was that even if they did have something on him, the local prosecutor wasn't willing to bring him in
Why?
because he was too influential and popular in the community.
Probably also had his insurance policy too.
Probably. He seemed to have probably gotten into that kind of business. He also found out that he became the chairman of the coroner's jury, who was the same institution that deemed the fire an accident.
This is so
We need
infuriating.
to make a movie about this.
Yep.
Oh,
But he was never indicted.
are
never
you kidding
brought in.
me?
Later, he also found out that Lonnie, the thief that had cut the phone lines, that was oddly close to everything else happening, he cracked and suddenly said, "I am done taking the blame for those people in Fayetteville." Not much was followed up after that, but he had found in documents that this happened
He said
beforehand.
that.
And this is something I think either happened to him or it was just
I was curious about his confession because if the police were involved, why did he confess? Like who pushed him and gave him pressure to confess that he cut the line saying he was going to rob the place? Like, I don't understand how that all transpired.
So it could have been like, the Fabio guy and all the other people in the community, because there were clearly more people behind this. They just like, hey, this is the fall guy.
We need a scapegoat.
We need a scapegoat, and it turned out to be Lonnie.
That makes
things
sense.
like-
So then maybe like the police investigated him and made him confess, and that's what they came up with. So.
Yeah.
Oh,
So he started doing his own investigating, his own, questioning, and he got to the fire chief, Mr. Morris. And he eventually cracked
oh,
and reversed what he originally stated about the children being cremated and that they didn't find any remains. He said that he did find remains. He
But
said
you
that he
didn't.
found specifically a human heart.
How stupid is that?
in a fire.
Mm-hmm.
It just burned the bones away and the heart was just there.
Oh, but I found a heart. It's real. Oh.
Instead of reporting it, he puts it in a dynamite box and buries it.
Okay.
So he brings him up enough pressure to where he said, okay, well, you're going to tell me where this is. You're going to go get it. I'm going to watch you do it so you don't do any switcheroos, and we're going to see whatever the heck this is.
If I saw a movie about this, I would say this is the stupidest movie ever because this could never happen.
Right?
Yeah. You're like, this doesn't
This is just silly writing.
It is. It's
It's
terrible
gonna
writing. Like,
happen.
how dumb did people have to be back then to believe all this? It's insane. And so pressured him. He dug it up. They put it out, and sure enough, there was an organ in it, but it turned out to be a beef liver. Did you really think a liver looked like a heart? Like, how dumb are you?
I wonder how that transpired too, because if they went directly from there, I'm like, so you just randomly buried a beef liver? And like, wait, you just had that in your back pocket ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
Makes
This is so
no
messed up.
sense.
And when he was questioned on why he did it, he was hoping it would have put to an end to the investigation with remains and that everything would be dropped. But, of course, the parents were diligent and they kept going.
Yeah, they're like, hell no, this isn't. Nope, this ain't it.
Yep.
Nope.
Wow.
What?
Some more time had passed, and George was reading a magazine article with the picture that showed school children in New York City. And he swore that he saw his 7-year-old daughter, Betty, in the picture. And so, of course, George drove up immediately and went to this school and asked, like, hey, I lost my children. I feel like I saw her in this picture and it was at this school. Will you let me see this girl?
That's hard.
They refused. He was never able to see the girl, and he was never able to find out if that was her or not.
That just breaks my heart.
So in 1949, they hire a pathologist. He dug up the site, and he actually found human remains.
Okay.
Shards of vertebrae from the same body.
Okay.
But the bones didn't have any scorch marks on it. So it was unlikely it was the children.
So they just had a body on the site there?
Mm-hmm. So this could have been, buried beforehand on the land that no one ever knew about. Who knows? But
Hmm.
they did do their due diligence, and they sent the remains off to the Smithsonian. And it was found to be someone around 16 or 17, but no
Okay.
older than 22. Most of the children, though, they were between, I think, the ages of like 4 and 14, 16. Maurice, he was the oldest of the missing children, but he was only 14 years old.
Okay.
Well, could it have been
Push
him?
it.
Possibly.
And he maybe had just had mature bones or something. But the biggest thing was that it didn't have any scorch marks.
Yeah, that is weird.
So the Smithsonian opened up 2 investigations into potential things that were being overlooked because they found, they did end up finding remains. Nothing was ever brought up about it. And like this needs to be investigated more. However, the local authorities were not willing to devote any more resources toward it.
Of course they're not.
And so in 1950, the state of West Virginia closed the inquiry for good, stating that their case was, quote, hopeless. Like local authorities weren't going to do anything. FBI wasn't stepping in. Their hands were kind of tied and said, sorry,
There's
we
nothing
can't do
here.
anything for you. We can't devote any more resources. So if you're going to do anything, just you have to do it on your own.
That sucks.
Yeah. So in the early 50s, Jenny and George had posted a billboard near Route 16, and in bold capital letters, they posed the question, what happened to them? Were they kidnapped? Were they murdered? Are they still alive? They don't know, but they wanted information. So they posted each of the kids' photos on the billboard to say, have you seen these kids? So on there, they said they put a $5,000 reward for info.
Yeah, you're like, as a parent, you would do anything.
Exactly. I'm just curious of how much that would have been like today. About 67,000.
Wow.
You basically like, I'll give you anybody anything
Mhm.
that can lead to my kids.
So once that happened and they didn't get any information, they even doubled it. So it's now about $120,000. Now, a woman had mailed a letter stating Martha, the oldest missing girl, was in a convent in, strangely enough, St. Louis, Missouri.
St. Louis.
Hey-yo. So he went and investigated, but this turned out to be a dead end. Another patron in a Texas tavern reached out saying he heard an incriminating conversation between a couple of adults about a Christmas time fire that had happened. Again, both went cold and went nowhere.
How exhausting would this be? You guys are parents. You have no idea what happened to your kids. And you just are relying on the word of other people and having all these dead ends. That
Yeah.
it's just like relying on hearsay.
It's just constant, your hopes, like hoping
Try
that's
not
going to
to get it.
happen, but each time it's just,
That would that'd be heartbreaking.
I'm just thinking about how bad the Christmas of 1946, the year afterwards, and did they stay married, and how did the family turn out, and all these questions I have.
To the best of my knowledge, they stayed together.
Yeah.
And like I said, they went until they died. So another one in 1967, a woman from Houston overheard a drunk young man claiming to be Lois Sodder, one of the children that were missing.
That's
So
weird.
someone now claiming to be one of the kids, he immediately got in his car with one of the older kids, or 2 of them, and they went in a flash. But once they arrived, the woman refused to speak to them. So did somebody tip them off and she's being silenced? Or did she really not know the crap she was talking about? And she said, I said whatever I needed to in the letter, and that's it. So they
I wonder if that was
eventually,
just a red herring.
yeah. So they eventually tracked the man down, claiming to be Lewis. And interestingly enough, this guy had a brother named Maurice, another one of the boys that were missing.
Huh.
But they firmly denied that they were not these brothers. So again, did somebody get to them? Like maybe one day, like he actually was drunk and claiming to be this, but someone caught up with him saying, "Hey, shut your mouth. You need to, be quiet."
Didn't he look a lot like him too?
Yeah.
That's why the dad came out.
Because years later, in a 2013 interview with the Charleston Gazette, the daughter Sylvia, the youngest one, claimed that he had doubt that what they said was true. Like maybe he could have been his kids. Like this was 20 years later, though. These kids are grown up. They look a lot different.
Yeah.
But hey, your kids,
That's interesting that he had doubt. He's like, that could have been my kids, and they were just fibbing with me.
Exactly. Jenny also received a letter postmarked from Kentucky with a picture of a man in his 20s or 30s with the name Louis Sodder. And on the back wrote, "I love brother Frankie." So Jenny's brother's name was Frankie.
Oh, okay.
So they sent an investigator to go, or sent a private investigator to go and follow up on this thing, who they never heard from again.
The private investigator.
That's weird.
They never heard from him again.
So you're like, did the investigator just take their money?
Mhm.
Or did something happen?
Mhm.
Or I hate this case.
Unfortunately, George died in 1969, never finding his kids.
Hmm.
The Sodders spent $15,000 trying to solve this mystery, which would be about $150,000 today, give or take. The billboard finally came down in 1989 when Jenny passed away.
Parents passed away.
Both of them, without knowing what happened to their kids. So even today, there are still some Sodder descendants that are still trying to seek out some answers, but nothing has come to light yet.
Wow.
That's insane.
My takeaway from this is the 40s and 50s was a great era to be a criminal.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's true. Like, you could get away, if you knew your stuff, you could get away with just about anything.
Yeah.
And especially if you were friends with the right people.
Mhm.
Because let's be honest, that town, there's people in that town that knew something. And the same thing with Fabio. That's weird. I just don't understand the need to take the children, though. What do they do with them? Because there's all these claims about the kids being off elsewhere. So it's like, did they actually take them and kill them?
Yeah, I mean, so if you think about it, how cruel it would be, like maybe it was a higher form of torture to like take their kids live and have them wander the rest of their lives. What happened versus there's closure.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's a whole other type of torture.
Well, thanks for leaving me hanging.
You're welcome. And that is the mystery of the Sodder children.
That's our Sodder children. Oh, I hate that case. I hate that case with a burning passion.
Yeah.
Because it just leaves, there's so many unanswered questions.
Something obviously happened.
Yeah, something happened.
Monty himself even cracked and said, "I'm done taking the blame for the people in Fayetteville."
I want to know if that was the slowest fire. What's the word?
Response time.
Yes.
Slowest
in
response
history.
time ever.
Exactly. 8 hours. That makes
Mhm.
me angry.
I mean, you could have mailed yourself a letter and it would have got there before.
No,
Just about.
exactly.
It's insane. Shame on you.
Shame.
You've brought dishonor and
Well,
shame to your family.
It's just hard because there's no closure.
Yeah.
For anybody, and it's so sad. I can't imagine for their parents,
Mhm.
for their family, for the children, for the descendants right now. Because the matter of fact is, they just don't know what happened.
Yeah.
And that's horrible. That's the kind of torture I wouldn't wish on anybody
Mm-hmm.
ever. Well, guys, if you made it this far, thank you for being here. I'm sure you're frustrated with us. May your pillow be cold.
That's your signature sign off now.
It is my
It
my signature sign off. It's a good wish for people.
It is.
May you have also the bestest of parking spots.
Yes. May your car always start after the first turn during a cold winter day, especially being the winter right now.
Yep.
May your toilet paper rolls always be full.
Yes.
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 I once texted my wife that I was out of toilet paper and it went to my insurance agent. Speaking of insurance agents, he texted me back, so I'll help you in many ways, but I'm not going to help you this way.
That's still good.
And Trevor, thank you again for being with us today. And like I said, hopefully we can get you on some more of our paranormal episodes.
I'm really excited to have him share his experiences because they're good.
Till next time.
Sip carefully.